Oh, you're supposed to rent this one.
Yeah, first one right. You don't know the rules?
Oh! That's actually hype. I actually like
that's
this.
a nice
actually a good
one.
skin, bro. What the?
Well worn.
This
I
is
can't even
well-
read that it said well worn.
Oh no, we did a. There's a hack. If he tabs
Oh, there
out,
is?
yeah, if he tabs out, it like gets dark. Like,
Yeah, it's not dark.
It's not the dark. It's not the darkness about
It
the
just
reading,
got bright
bro.
as soon as you tap back.
Oh, there we go.
like that. Oh,
So then he can't see it, right?
He can see
No, you
it.
can't.
Oh, he can't. Yeah, he can't see it.
Oh,
Let's go.
Oh, another purple. Wow.
Oh,
Hello.
that's a purple, bro. On my screen, it looked like a pink.
I think it's a
top
purple.
down.
Is it purple, right?
Yeah, purple.
Yeah. Maybe I'm.
David's
colorblind,
locked in right now.
So purple's like second, third best?
bro. Second best.
No, second worst.
Or yeah, second worst. My fault.
oh my
Oh, buddy, almost got
Easy.
print
They
stream.
didn't even flinch. They didn't even flinch, bro. Another battle scarred one.
You could have had one for each side. One deagle.
One deagle.
They didn't even flinch. No
Come
reaction. No
Like,
reaction.
No reaction. No reaction. No reaction. No reaction. Damn, I thought it'd be a gold, bro. There's no. They're all blues. That's
First
Terminator.
blue. First blue of the opening.
That's actually good.
Hey, blue's the worst though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Womp womp.
Dang.
Oh, this one's for Evan.
Hey, Milo,
Evan's
you
not
fucking-
even here. This guy's deafened.
So
He's
fucking
deafened,
his
bro.
cat.
He's. Oh yeah.
Wine will do that to you.
One will do that too.
Oh.
The cassette.
This when your guy's emoting in Discord.
Yeah.
No,
Got the
no
sound, got the
reaction,
soundboard,
no
bro. I
reaction.
can't hear the game, so I gotta add some.
No reaction. No reaction. No reaction. No reaction. No reaction.
Are we eating?
It wasn't promised to me.
Wait, Charles, how'd you
4,000
get
years
yours to do that? What the hell?
What?
Or you need to have your camera on, maybe.
Probably, yeah.
Would you
This is
have
the first
nitro?
time. This is the first time I've ever seen this.
What the fuck?
Oh, you have nitro, that's why.
What the fuck? What the
Charles, why do you pay for nitro?
He's
Yeah,
a baller.
Like purely for this, for the stream quality for you guys.
Oh,
Respect.
real one.
Respect. Oh. Oh my god. Is it super loud for you guys too?
Not particularly.
No. Just turn your volume down.
Yeah.
Alright, join up.
Okay, wait. Well, Evan's not here. Can we
Yeah.
like put it on Nuke and then just spam that on every round? Is just him.
For sure.
What?
Yeah, yeah.
But we gotta play Nuke, and then whenever Evan's the last one alive, we just play this sound.
What sound?
The bomb has been
The bomb has
planted.
been planted soundboard sound. You know, you have soundboard muted, Charles?
Oh, I
Yeah.
have some more muted. Yeah. Okay, let me unmute. Let me unmute.
You can do that.
Yeah, yeah. Just right
Oh, you
click,
can.
right click on the soundboard icon and just.
Oh,
Bro, I've had this muted for like 2 years.
I can't
Ever
believe you guys
since-
got rid of my super long Nancy snip. I'm sad about that.
Honestly, that's some hater shit, bro.
Yeah.
Where is the
You guys have like a
soundboard?
fart noise over the Nancy one?
Open soundboard.
It's like below the disconnect button. Yeah, there.
It just says bomb.
Okay, yes. Okay, well, one person's gotta do it. We can't be all spamming it.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
how about-
only have one monitor, so it can't be me.
Whoever's dead first.
I can. Oh yeah, that makes sense too. What happened, bro? Transaction declined?
No, I'm trying to see if I had enough funds for 2 cases.
No funds? This is
Are
water.
you,
Why is this so
uh,
watery?
Are you crazy poor or something, bro?
Oh, it's gold. Oh, never mind.
Okay, next time you do a case unboxing, Zinni, I'm telling you, you gotta rent the first one. You'll get 9 knives.
9 knives.
9 knives.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, no. That I think that that adds up. Yeah.
No, someone gotta stream the game for me. Zinni, but why?
What
That
game?
was the case opening, man.
No, aren't you guys gonna play?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Can we play?
I mean, we're gonna play. Evan's just gonna participate.
Hater.
He's gonna
Ooh,
watch
the
from the
donk,
sidelines.
the donk sticker went up in price.
Oh, it's Evan's promotion match.
And this down sticker probably went up 2 cents, and Sydney's rubbing his hands
It
together.
went up. It went up $20 actually.
Something to
I know
rub your
you'd
hands
be. I know
together
you'd be
about.
drooling over a profit margin like that, little boy.
Yo, bro, you guys saw how my fucking boss sent me the fucking rubbing hands together emoji?
Yeah.
I was not ready for that.
What did you
But
do?
then,
Did you
I
ask
sent
for a
him the toe
raise?
sucking one.
The toe sucking one.
On the side, bro, on the side. Not on Teams.
Wait, Zinni, which donk sticker do you have?
The gold champions banquet. That one.
Damn,
It's like $89 now.
damn,
Oh, $89.
pretty good unboxing.
Yeah. I'm gonna let it appreciate.
What happens if there's a CS:GO market crash?
How will the markets financially recover?
Then
The last
He's
time,
dead, bro.
last time it was a market crash was when CS2 got released.
Yeah, what if CS3 comes out?
Market crash? I thought the market was crazy with CS2.
Wait, Zinni, how many of these sticker
Like it-
capsules did you do?
Wait,
Oh,
did the items from
like 40?
CS1 not transfer to
Oh
CS2?
my god,
They
Yeah,
did.
they did. It's the same.
But
It's the
they're
same
only-
game.
30 cents, right?
Yeah, 30 cents a capsule. Charles, the prices went up when CS2 got announced, and then when CS2 got released, it like crashed a little bit.
Oh, 'cause it
Skyro-
was trash.
No, it went up a lot.
Mhm. When it got announced, when CS2
Did you
got
guys see
announced.
Elon
No,
Musk?
even like,
doing
Doing the
After that,
salute,
it
bro.
still went up a lot.
the salute, bro?
Crazy stuff, man.
Alright, are we playing?
Kind of hungry.
We were waiting for you.
Can we
Two
play? Can we
games. The
play?
last two games, so we should be able to play.
We should be.
Oh,
able,
Zinni's
huh?
too high a rank.
All right, let's go. Run it. Damn.
This guy said I lost 2 games. He's 13-4, bro.
I
Bro, we
was
could play
four-
when you're. We could play when you're 12-6.
Bro, I was 14-5, like two
Yeah,
games
we
ago.
could play that whole time.
Zinni, you gotta start smurfing, bro.
Okay, competitive it is.
Oh, actually, you want a Smurf?
Is it banned though?
No, it's
Isn't
not
it
banned.
shadow banned?
It's not banned. It's not banned.
Do you have Prime?
I do have Smurf. It's Prime. It is Prime. It is
Yeah,
Prime.
it's Prime.
Where's the Smurf from?
Why am I so zoomed in? What the fuck are y'all gonna tell me?
Evan,
You're not, bro.
do you have any Jewish in you?
No,
Then why doesn't he call you a Jew all the time?
I don't know.
Bro, look at him.
I don't know. When did that start? High school?
He calls everyone
Yeah,
a Jew.
oh, I know when.
Was it the
I
big
know when.
double? The
It
big
was,
double
it was the
incident?
junior chicken. It was the
The
junior
junior
chicken.
chicken
I bought a
incident,
junior
yeah, yeah,
chicken. I bought a junior chicken for Evan in high school.
Yeah.
It took him 1
Zinni's-
year to pay me back.
He's acting like this junior chicken was promised.
Bro, why'd you even pay him back at that point after making him
Yeah.
wait a year?
You're lucky I did.
Why would
What do you
you?
mean? I'm lucky that you owe me. What the fuck?
Yeah.
No, you should have been interest rate on
Neato
that.
mosquito.
Zinni, hold up.
Interest, you know
I
the
don't even
Jews
know-
invented
Coin is
interest.
yours.
When did I
Jewish
even
for
play
asking,
with
bro,
you
for a
before?
junior
What the hell?
chicken?
Crazy, yeah.
That's the other side of the coin, though. You guys are both Jews. You for asking for the 2 shekels, and him for not giving you 2 shekels.
No, actually, for real.
Yeah.
Oh, yo, okay, hold on. My settings are actually mad fucked.
So you know the Jews invented interest? Now you're trying to encourage me with it?
Yeah.
You guys are live on Twitch, by the way. Just letting you know. Just keep,
Oh, okay. Thanks for the heads up.
Hey, oh, let me open the stream up.
Yeah, when I, yeah, there you go. No one has to stream for me. I'll hop on the Twitch.
Okay. Yo, guys, I don't know why. Hold on, let me stream. Oh, shit. I might need like a few seconds to adjust like my settings.
Okay. I'll put up a green screen in the meantime.
Are you still liking the Marvel game? My buddy's been asking me to play it.
That Marvel game, bro. David, I played for 1 hour. I uninstalled the game.
Okay, that's kind of what I assumed would happen with me. So like, I didn't really want to install it in the first place.
It's not worth it.
Can you guys check if I can play Premiere? I might need like a little bit more to play Premiere.
What?
I might need like.
No, we're good.
I mean, it works.
Oh no, 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 that was
competitive,
cool.
that's
That was
competitive.
There's too much pasta.
I need
that
low.
was
Okay, I need
Sergeant
rank
rank
10. Okay, I'm rank 7. I'm rank 7.
Well, we'll just play comp anyways.
Yeah, we'll play
this
comp.
account up.
then. I'm
Rank
not allowed to
7
play
in the
prem with
world.
you guys.
Zinni, didn't know you were like that.
Do we play comp?
Yeah, we can play comp. I just can't play prem.
Alright.
Alright, gentlemen, I'll probably be back in a few. You know me, I can't eat without YouTube, so here we are.
But you just
You
watch
guys
me
get
near Twitch.
Yo, hold on. While I'm
That's
doing
true.
that, I'm gonna get my crosshair set up.
Oh my god.
Bro, we're waiting for Manir anyways.
This guy stinks.
Oh gosh. Yo,
Oh gosh.
BB, you would apply to the Kanye positions?
Alright.
Kanye positions? What?
He posted on his page that he's hiring ML engineers.
I don't know ML enough, unfortunately.
So Greg should apply.
Yeah, I sent it to Greg and he's like, I don't know.
Why doesn't he know?
Where he posts on his Instagram?
Yeah, Greg could just go message him on Instagram and be like, I love every one of your songs. I have your merch.
Yo, what AK
Does
is
he
that?
have his merch? I don't think he has his
merch.
That's a front side
I
Misty,
don't
bro.
think he does.
They call
Is
it
that?
Blue Bowl Gemerald actually is the government name.
Charles, it looks like Steven is trying to copy your gun. His.
Bro,
Steven's got the
Steven's AK is
Dollarama
the
gun.
uglier version. Yeah,
Just
Steven's
hate
got like
it.
that. Steven's got like that colorful AK that no one wants.
How many stars are
I
on
want
yours?
that.
Alright, let's queue. Let's queue.
All right, everyone, pick him out.
Office.
Oh, Vertigo.
I wish I had your blue
Yo,
balls.
Charles, stack her office.
Yo, if I were you, I was with you, bro. My balls wouldn't be blue though. Give me ancient.
You.
I was already hovering that.
Alright.
Great minds think alike.
Wait, one sec.
God.
Oh,
Alright,
my
alright.
Buddy, bro, I'm gonna be working. By the time you queue, I'm gonna have to go to work.
No,
work
bro,
tonight,
I'm
Charles?
actually
No, I
sorry.
don't. Next shift is Wednesday at 1:30 p.m., bro. But that's how long this guy's taking.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't know I have to send my
God.
load. I have to send my load.
He's about to say,
Oh
let me
my
change my profile.
By the time you're done your
Oh,
loadout, bro, you could have
that-
lost 3 Premier games and queued with us, bro.
Yeah, but
Bro,
I'm not trying to
Zinni,
do
this is
all
what you do.
that.
This is what you do. You just you just abandon the games. You do a minus 1,000. You're easy.
Okay, I can queue.
Or team kill.
That's what Greg
just
was
team
saying. He
kill.
abandoned one game and lost like a bajillion MMR.
He abandoned like 2 or 3 games.
Oh.
Classic Greg.
He blamed one of them on
Oof.
you too, David. He was like, he wanted me to come play Dota, so I just left it.
Oh, I did tell him to actually, but he was having a bad time anyways. I think he was like about to abandon.
I think that's what happens when you play games alone.
Yeah.
Zinni doesn't think so, it seems like.
Nah.
Oh, ancient, no.
Ancient.
I don't want this map. I'm not gonna ready up.
Alright, boys, I'll be back in a few.
See you.
You're cracked at being around. Yo, you're cracked at being a cracker, bro. Shit, can I get back for saying that?
Yes.
Report his Twitch.
Guys, I'm white. I'm a white individual.
Alright.
Guys, I
Man,
learned to
this guy.
smoke on ancient.
Really?
White
Yo,
face
Zinni. Respect moment. I'm gonna watch that video.
Go sip
Oh,
it.
the one.
Donut.
You can call us in warm up, bro.
No, the smoke is donut.
Dude, shit. How do I fix this?
Oh,
Right.
the smoke here where he ran Cyrus and got it onto.
Yeah.
That was a third of the smoke.
Hey, yo, I'm not gonna lie, guys. I might need this. Actually, I'll do it when I die.
Just call tactical. You can watch your
You
Simpsons.
got to install his cheats on his new account.
No, my mini map is all the way on the left side of the screen. It's not like.
Oh, because you got a
Center
fucking
left.
ultra wide, bro.
Yeah, I gotta run some commands to fix that.
Very site execute B.
Execute B. We got
Where'd
two
that smoke go?
motherfuckers not even moving, bro.
Don't worry.
Well, who is this yellow guy?
Seems so game out.
Who else would be yellow guy, bro?
Alright, Simpson gamer.
Yo, no, chill.
Kissing chill while shooting.
Yo, praise 151 is following, yo.
You
Shout out.
done
Nice
now?
streaming content, yo. Shout out to that guy, bro.
Aw, look who got the assist on me, huh?
Man, look who finished the game off.
Don't worry, guys. I got it.
We know you got it, bro.
I don't mean to flex on you guys, but I got 9 damage that round.
That's 3 times 3.
This is what we're being deprived of in Premier games, bro.
What?
9 damage from Theben, bro.
Facts.
Said we gotta waste it on a competitive game, bro.
Oh, they're all here. Go away. Oh, Evan has bomb.
Wait, did you pick a Smurf account or we're still playing competitive?
He's not high enough rank.
Oh, okay.
He's not enough.
You know, we were able to
that.
play Prem with his other account.
This account was like MG2. Or like maybe MGE.
There's someone else there.
How are you MGE and you're rank 7?
Because when you played back in
Is it
CS2, you
Raptors?
didn't need crazy high account level.
I thought you needed like 10 games or something.
Oh fuck! He's
Yeah,
default.
but you still wouldn't be like
He's tucked in. He's tucked into. The...
you still wouldn't be like level 10 by the time you get your 10 games done.
Simpson Gamer.
Or I had to turn the volume off.
Yeah, and to get headshotted too, huh?
Damn, 61 damage. Huge turnout
This
for
guy's
me.
smurfing, bro.
Oh, Tech 9 brother, bro. This is nice.
Oh, you have it one now? Oh, you do.
Yeah.
Twin brothers, bro.
Straight up. Twin brothers.
Twin brothers.
Who is that?
Yeah, it was that guy.
Oh, boost. Someone want to boost? Get up.
Oh.
Thanks.
Yo, you walked right in front of me, bro. At least I got the kill.
Oh,
Oh.
my god.
Hey, my man was lurking with bomb. All good.
Hey, he's almost dead.
Real one.
So he's not
Okay,
dead.
Evan will eventually get there.
Are you sure?
Shift walking with the Negev, I believe.
Now Zinni's playing at his actual rank.
No, I'm playing my. I don't think this is a high rank.
What are you
Tell
talking
yourself
about?
off.
Charles, how are you the only one with the rank?
Right.
Important.
What is this Evan got you?
How do you have a rank?
Yo, Zinni's scoreboard.
I don't know.
Scoreboard?
I only play with you guys. Like,
Yeah, scoreboard.
That's what I mean.
Scoreboard.
How
Evan's
do you have a
scoreboard.
rank?
Evan's
Actually
scoreboard.
beneath me, bro.
Evan's
Evan's scoreboard. What the fuck?
The only person ahead of Evan is me, and I have 100 damage.
What are you flexing right now, bro?
This Evan guy says scoreboard.
Yeah, it was scoreboard.
Just
but
yeah,
I said
ratio.
it.
Scoreboard when you said someone for the round updated, bro.
Ratio.
It's crazy. Oh, Dave's dead.
Dave is dead. I don't even know if I hit him.
Someone's in cave.
Are you sure there's someone in cave? Oh, he's right. How did I not kill him, bro?
one ball
That's
bomb,
crazy.
man.
Yeah, the fuck did I not kill him, bro?
Thanks for communicating, you guys.
Is he right there?
No, you're sure right.
That's fucking funny.
Where's ramp? Is that like the,
That's
on
where
the
he
B
just
side?
came from, bro.
Like, on the B side, right?
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. Alright. Time to buy a real gun, guys.
He means business.
Is that your nice skill now?
Yeah, man.
Oh, you got the bomb and you're going alone.
No problem.
Lurking with the bomb.
Yo, boost, boost.
Boost where? Here?
What the
Bros, get on my head.
Hey, Charles, you're not
Get up,
jumping.
Get up, bros, get on my head.
One guy's cave, one guy's cave.
Jump.
There's two of them!
Bros, watch cave.
There's two of them, cave. Hugging the wall on the, like, the left side. One more.
Oh, let's go.
Behind you. Ramp.
Nice controls.
I'm ramp.
Oh, you're ramp.
No,
He's cave.
Sorry, not ramp. Fucking cat. Oh, I hit the other guy too? No way.
What?
Zany.
Alright, you got this,
One
Charles.
more.
Yeah, better
One
watch
of
out
them's like
for the
super
rounds.
low.
though.
One guy's super low. 3 bullets.
Reload. I think one was like top mid.
Man, I love the sludge in the water.
What's a sticker?
I think it's more than one sticker.
Press and hold it F. Press F and then hold it. Hold F. So we can see the sticker. Never mind. Should be a hater. That's okay.
Dude, he's trying to clutch up.
He's
They
gonna
heard
be
that.
in cave.
What the?
He's there.
You didn't even get bombed, Charles.
Picked up like a flashbang or something.
But I heard the pickup. I was like, I got it.
Oh man.
All good.
We're so good at this game.
Honestly, man.
Bros, you guys got like a salmonella recall or anything for eggs?
No. No, that's Sobi's group that has that.
Toby's?
Yeah, Sobi has it. And like no name.
Yes.
President's choice.
I got salmonella from the eggs, though.
Really, from Costco eggs.
Yeah.
It's a lawsuit.
Yo, guys. Back? Yo, is a guy donut?
Oh my gosh, I suck.
It's okay, we're about to watch a crazy clutch right now.
One guy's coming around. Probably.
Man, this Dave guy, man. Looked out.
Whoa.
Then he turned his camera off, so now I just got a full screen that's just Charles's face.
Man, I haven't been able to buy an AK out of this game.
Yo, crazy poor no Guinness. Simpson gamer, kind of doo doo. Yo, we've been known that, bro.
Haters.
There's two mid?
David,
What?
let him know.
Oh, that's David, like our David.
I mean, how many Davids do you know, bro?
Two.
That I also know,
Oh.
and that is name dropping you, bro.
No, you can see Simpson gamers in this copy. Yo, let him push up gold.
He's dead.
He's open.
Go A.
One's donut.
You see him under cat, Charles? You see him under cat? Molotov?
Under cat? Yeah,
To your right?
to your right, to
To
your
your
right.
right.
He's
Right,
open.
right, right,
he's
right, right,
open.
right, right.
Yeah, right there,
yeah.
right there, right there.
There?
Yeah.
I got him. Yo, you attacked a teammate, bro.
Yo, are you guys gonna go B?
No?
Fucking
go
Evans
A right
team
now.
kill.
He's going B. He's going B. He's going B.
Yeah, see? See?
Dude, if we didn't have Evan griefing this whole game, man.
For real, bro. I just have to die. It's okay.
I'll go donut. You go temple.
Mid cave.
Actually, no. I'll go A main. Yeah.
That's not cave.
That's temple, bro. Cave is on the other side.
He's coming.
Seems so game, man.
Dave's AK. Ew, so ugly.
And then give it back. Ah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, I'll smoke up mid for you, BB.
He smoked,
Alright,
he
bro.
smoked donut.
Oh, I got flashed. Okay, Evan. Really?
Wow.
What the?
How the hell did that guy get there?
One's in donut.
One's in donut. He's super lit.
I'm gonna go.
Bomb's down mid though.
Oh.
The last guy was like cat.
Yeah, he's cat. Let's go plant the bomb.
Activating the bomb. Bomb has been planted.
Planting for Bagel.
Mid, maybe?
He's donut right now. Look at that.
Look at that.
Oh, you got rid of your knife, see? Oh, never mind. Other account.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah,
but
transfer your knife.
But it is gone on the other account too.
Oh, you did? Did you make profit?
Yeah. It's listed right now. I just need someone to buy it.
Hmm.
What's the listing?
780 or I think like 810 or something like that.
So what's that, like $90? I'll give you $90 to give you the knife.
Yeah, funny guy. Yeah, they all pushed up.
Holy.
The guy, window. Or not window, I don't even know the call out.
Get him, Fantan.
I don't think I will, bro.
A bunch of them are super lit.
There's a guy donut.
You got more that are
I think
lit.
there's one immediately to the right.
More lit.
Ooh, easy peasy.
Let's go on the scoreboard, boys.
Bro, you were on there before. Come on, man. 9 damage was big, bro.
Okay, bro. I had 300 damage. Oh no, not 300. 200.
Let's go, my brother.
Yo, how the fuck did they flash us?
Throwing the flashbang.
Oh,
There's a guy in front of cave.
Yo, Dave is dead.
One
He
mid
is
lit
dead.
with a raid.
Nice. Where did that go?
Oh, cat.
Dare that at.
There's a guy CT right now.
Right now.
I told
Last
you.
one I think is probably Kate, or there's two there.
Let's go, go A main, go A main.
How do you do this jump here?
Not
You gotta jump
from
off the
there.
sign.
You jump on that thing and then onto the sign.
Ooh.
It's like
Oh, you see him temple of it?
He's donut.
Evan, he's boosted.
He's on the boost, isn't he? Yeah, he's on the boost.
I missed.
Crazy.
Damn. Evan, bro.
Damn, bro. Who is Red Room?
Evan's selling, bro.
What the hell? How'd you die?
Crazy.
How'd you die?
Insanity.
Insanity.
I got the guy that was boost.
Yeah.
How did you die, Evan?
For real.
Bad luck.
You gave yourself or something?
Yeah. I don't know what happened to him, bro. I was looking at the guy boosting, the guy killed me from donut, bro.
If you keep acting like this,
Oh
one of those
my
things that have
God.
our thing unplugged.
They've been pushing B.
What? Temple! What? Temple! Oh, brother.
There's a guy cat. I shot in between his feet.
I'm throwing a flashbang. I'm throwing a grenade.
Oh, I wish you got that, Charles.
I'm planted.
Last guy was cat with a knock.
Smoke.
Oh, that maybe?
Well, I'll stay aiming.
Oh, he keeps trying to boost.
I fear no man.
Oh, I guess he didn't pick up the op.
Smoke. Smoke. Throwing a flashbang. Flashbang. Throwing fire.
Okay,
Flashbang.
there's 2 on B. I'll be back.
Grenade out. Throwing smoke.
Why is bomb all the way on B?
They even brought it there.
Throwing fire. Grenade.
He's lit, he's lit, he's lit.
I think he went cave, just toss a grenade in there.
I'm throwing a grenade. I'm planting the bomb. Bomb has been planted.
How the fuck did he go?
You got this, Mr. Fantan.
Terrorists win.
96 and 3, damn.
4 and 1. Wow. Always smurfing, very athletic round. Yeah, you know how it goes, man. Always smurfing.
Oh, why have chat muted? Or not muted, censored.
What does that even mean?
Move it, son. Throwing fire. Throwing fire.
Young fly on the trap.
My dick got so much smegma.
Throwing a grenade.
Look at everything. What the?
It's not cave.
Yo, it's B?
Bomb has been planted.
Look at that, baby. Doubled the kills in 1 round.
Nice.
Tripled. Quadrupled.
Quintuple?
Take his ace.
Hey, I'm gonna kill you if you do.
Oh,
Easy.
yeah.
But come back.
You get a sixth one. Get a sixth
Damn,
one.
one
Get a sixth
kill.
one.
You got the first kill.
Get a sixth one.
Let's go.
6 piece. Easy.
6 piece.
My helmet and Kevlar.
How the hell did you get a helmet on the first round, bro?
My helmet and Kevlar.
How the fuck did you get a helmet on the first round, bro?
Right, he stole his gun.
I sold my gun, bro.
Bro, he sold his body or some shit, bro. What the fuck? You still had
While
your
you
gun.
guys were buying starting pistols, I was taking yours.
Incendiary out. Decoys out. Grenade. Grenade. Incendiary.
Is there a gun here, Charles?
Down there, John. I got a pistol.
Oh, true.
Is there anyone A?
This guy's forced up. I pushed through A main and I didn't see anyone. I killed one guy.
Nobody came mid. Oh, there's one guy right
Counter-terrorists win. Easy peasy lemon
there. He was lurking with the bomb. Fuck all that pushing P. Let me see you push it.
There's someone. There's a Galil.
I'm allergic, thanks. So.
Come on, chop chop.
Oh,
Oh, 39
that's actually
is
crazy.
They're crazy, bro.
And then guys griefing, bro.
Throwing fire.
What's new, bro?
Grenade out.
One guy's outside of A main.
Oh, you died?
Yeah.
Yo, why did you die, bro?
Smoke.
No,
Smoke.
Can't say I do, bro.
Double smoke.
Oh, alright, we lost a... Oh, they lost to someone, I mean. We lost an enemy.
There's no one here.
Bomb has been planted.
He smoked off CT.
I have a kit.
He's dead.
I'm gonna go check there's more biscuits
Y'all
after
have a
this
kill,
round.
bro.
Bomb has been defused. Counter-terrorists win.
Timeout.
Man.
They go take a piss.
What? How did I not get a kill for that?
For what?
My kills didn't get updated for that last one.
Oh, that's 6K?
No, the last guy I killed. The 6Ks are there.
You got all 6 added to your list, bro? Added to your account?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
No.
These fellas are gonna regret waking up
Charles is
this
not back.
morning. Holding here.
Evan's not
Yeah,
here
please.
anyways.
I swear I just heard him, bro.
Throwing smoke.
Yeah, I am here.
Flashbang. Throwing fire. Decoy.
Oh. What the hell was that noise?
Ramp?
You around?
Someone ripping ass.
Crazy.
2 ramp, maybe 1 cave as well?
Hella prejudice, guy.
That was a crazy fart.
One's mid.
I'm here to clutch.
They're on B. Oh, Charles!
They're in front of you, Charles?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry. I wasn't sitting down yet.
Mmm.
Bro is still putting his headphones on and shit, bro. Oh!
Okay.
Give me my assist.
Backup site.
I say it's 2.
Oh, see you later, buddy.
Last one's
He's
lit.
ramp.
Last one's lit. And then ramp. Super lit.
You
Super
saw
lit.
him.
Pistol. 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 Just pistol.
No, Rampy, what are you doing?
Ramp. Pistol.
Ram.
Start defusing. Start defusing.
I'm defusing the bomb.
He's coming, he's coming, he's coming, he's coming, he's coming, he's coming, he's coming.
Oh.
That was close. That was close. I'll give
Who's
it.
hit 93, bro? 93.
Yeah, what am I gonna do? Just run at him and not make it to him because he's hiding?
Yes.
Let go of the bomb and pistol him and then defuse. Ban short.
Intro.
Alright, guys.
Let's move out. Laying down smoke. Laying down smoke. Throwing a grenade.
Just don't do something little.
Smoke.
Are they mid?
I don't
They're
know.
cave. Or behind me.
Who's the auto?
Grenade out.
They do.
They do. One's
One guy's heading towards mid lid.
Yeah, I just volleyed that.
Deploying flashbang.
They're going through their spawn, I think.
Is the auto guy still alive?
Yeah, he's going through their spawn, I think.
Yeah. Mac 10, get this garbage out of here.
There
Oh,
he is.
he's not going to their spawn.
He went through their spawn, like from A to B. Oh, one's
Oh.
still up top.
No,
or
he
bottom
was
mid.
in B still. Like, there, Charles.
There's another guy there, where Evan is looking. I'm coming A main. Both of them. One's lit for sure. You got this, Charles.
Bomb has been planted.
They're both one shot.
See me, bro.
Damn, he's watching too much Red Note.
What's red
Yeah,
now?
watch Red Note on my Xiaomi phone.
It's that
It's a new TikTok.
the Chinese
The
TikTok.
Chinese TikTok.
Wrong
No.
shoe.
The Chinese people are so racist on the app to the Americans.
What do you
Good.
expect?
Fuck them
I
Americans.
mean, Americans are in a race, bro.
See,
No,
everything
but I'm saying, like,
Americans
I'm
are
saying,
towards
like-
Chinese people on Instagram.
Throwing flashbang.
They're being very racist to.
You should see.
the
You should hear what they see
African
about. You should hear what they see about Chinese people, bro. Like what? Everybody's racist, bro.
There's one guy outside B, Charles.
Grenade out.
Bunch of nades on B.
Oh, another guy. Another one.
Bombs down, A main.
Mom,
Can you boost me? To this?
Where, bro?
What?
Coach?
Can you even get up here?
No, coach.
he wants to.
What are you talking
Just
about?
outside the map?
What are you talking about, bro? You can walk there, bro.
See, the boost worked.
You can jump up there yourself, bro. What?
This guy loves the boot. Loves just getting on top of men.
You know it.
No, it's all making
Oh,
any
he's here.
fucking sense to me. Okay,
No,
come back to
he's
the
here,
bomb,
he's
bro.
here.
Come back to the
Why are you
bomb.
running? Why are you running? Why are you running? Fight him.
Yo, let me boost you. Let me boost you.
Yeah, boost me.
Yeah, come over here. Let me.
No, honestly, that boost might work.
Not if you do this.
Mm, 55 and 3.
He is not done.
We missed the boost.
We.
Yeah.
I was in position, bro.
Yo, Dave, where you going with that? Yo, Dave, I've never seen that skin before. Can I see it?
Yeah, can I sit next to you for a bit?
Incendiary out. Throwing a grenade. Throwing fire.
I'm not gonna just get you in front of me. I will shoot. I don't care.
Zinni's dead.
Graded. One's main.
Deploying.
Okay, I'm en route. The carry is en route.
On B.
Yo.
1K, one side.
Bombs
route.
on B.
1K, one side.
Evan's going
I don't know
Long
what it
range.
is.
You know.
Oh, near boost.
Coming back, I'm coming back.
Ouch.
Go.
Oh, this is not a good boost. There's one guy ran.
Oh, he's in cage.
Oh, behind me.
Oh!
The 7 guy doesn't want to check corners.
Damn.
Lock in.
I thought we had that, guys.
I don't know the password.
Remember,
Go mid.
Go mid.
It's been a minute since we tried that.
If we all go mid and they plant, that means we know how to get there quickest.
decoy.
It's
Grenade.
definitely B.
Okay, thank you.
Nice. They're planting.
Okay, Evan.
Oh, one behind.
Oh, there's a guy in that corner. Oh, you got it.
Oh, fuck. Ramp.
Ramp.
He's pushing right
He's
now.
lit.
Ramp.
Nice.
I'm gonna set diffusing.
Diffusing?
Yeah, he's in cave.
Okay, got him.
He's missing me.
He's defusing.
Snipe him? Nice. Wow, hack much reported.
Alright. You know the strat?
Rush mid.
Boost.
Let's go, fellas.
yo, boost me. Yo, boost.
No, boost me into this.
Throwing smoke.
What?
Oh,
How'd they get their soul? They all went
Oh,
mid.
yo, they rushed mid, bro.
Incendiary.
They came up with
Reverse rush
an
mid.
elite plan. I don't know where they cooked that one up from.
They won't be there.
Decoys out.
Okay,
Damn, so you run around with a knife.
Oh,
Wait,
nice.
who do you think you
They got us.
Scoreboard?
think you're wonderful looking at
Scoreboard.
Yes, all I see is
Yeah,
Dave.
everybody-
Dave is a
everybody
foundation,
knows
bro.
we're
You
down.
know what we'll do, Zini? We'll divide your amount
I
of
am the
kills by
foundation
your
for this
rank,
team.
and we'll see who's higher.
You can't
Without
build.
me,
You can't
I
build
don't
a
have a
building
rank.
without a foundation, bro.
I don't have a rank.
Exactly, bro. Munir knows what's up.
He's carrying from the
This
bottom up,
other guy
bro.
wants to divide by
On
my
his
rank. I don't
back.
even have a rank.
Throwing fire.
We're all boosted on top of Steven right now. Literally, we're all stacked on top of on the scoreboard.
Zini, you're acting like
Ramp.
a stateless person.
We should divide your kills by
One's cave, two on site. What do you even auto sniper, bro?
Zini bought it for me.
It doesn't say Zinni's name on it, bro.
I mean, everybody knows I don't have that shit.
This shit has a skin, bro. What the fuck?
You don't have the skin for the auto? Oh, there's a guy in the
I
corner.
don't even have the auto equipped, bro. I don't know if I have a skin for it.
Throwing fire. I'm defusing the bomb.
Get throwing, bro. What's going on?
I've been defused. What are you doing?
Dude,
kid.
I've been defused.
you're dudes, bro.
What are you doing?
It's because watching Zinni with one health die in the fire, like, yo,
I don't have a kid.
Okay.
You want me to go in the fire and die?
you had time, bro.
All right.
Didn't you throw the fire, bro? Oh, no.
No.
He threw it, okay.
This guy thinks I'm bad with utils or something.
No, we don't think we know.
That's why you didn't. That's why you're not allowed to throw that shit, bro.
Decoy. Laying down smoke. Grenade
We
out.
tried banning him.
Wrong grenade. Oops.
Grenade out. Decoys out. Incendiary out.
There's
Smoke
smoke
some
on
A
B.
main, I think.
That's it.
They're on B.
Nah, it wasn't Zinni, bro.
Bombs down.
Zinni shifting.
Bombs down, A main. Rotate.
I am here. Oh, okay, never mind. I'm just mid throwing animation now.
Bingo, bango, bongo. Bish, bash, boy.
Scoreboard? Oh, David No Island at the bottom, bro. Charles the foundation.
Oh, Dave, why?
on Seaside.
Gold Nova
Ooh, silver
1?
too.
No way.
No Rick? Oh, Nova 1? That's
No
crazy.
way. Must be smurfing, bro.
I'm so happy this shitty map is done for.
Facts.
Just
This
start
guy
off strong,
thinks
bro.
he's G2. He hates.
Okay, I'll be back. Give me like 5 minutes.
Okay.
Yo, nah, bro, come on, give
We
me
win one
Um,
more game, and then I get to get a case on this account.
Oh, I have a case to unbox now, guys. Weekly. Weekly.
Mm.
But yo, give me Eden. Oh, he got up. Fuck.
Ew.
He got up. He can't hear me anymore. Dreams and Nightmares case. What's in that one?
Bad.
Anything good in that one?
Yeah, butterfly knife, emerald.
I meant like skins. All knives are
No,
good
no,
knives,
you
bro.
want-
All knives are good,
you
bro.
want the knives.
I mean, obviously I want the knife, but in case I don't get the knife. The one time I got a knife, I wanted the blue ball gemerald, bro. I might end up getting a night wish or some shit, bro. Let me add some funds to the account.
I'll talk about now.
Huh?
Um,
Damn it. You're on.
Tyler Pete visited my farm.
No way. How'd you know? Yo, Zinni.
What's up?
Next time there's a major Pal World update, you trying to hop back in, bro?
I could be down.
I think they added there's been 2 major updates since we last played, so one more and there's more shit to do and stuff. I think there's a new island too.
Could be down.
See if David can run it on his PC, bro. Oh man, he's gonna be enjoying himself this time.
Yeah, he's gonna be on the 10-hour daily grind like we were.
Literally, his computer's not gonna overheat. He's actually gonna be able to play the game and shit.
All right, we back?
Yeah,
Ready,
I
waiting.
got a case to open. We waited for Theben though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Off the stream. Alright, butterfly knife emerald, easy 20k.
Easy
Alright,
20K.
I'm back.
But I got a case to open real quick.
Okay. Hi.
You might as well make it 10 cases.
No, this is a free weekly case, bro. I don't have to buy cases, bro. I got a knife. I'm satisfied.
He did, yeah, he did fulfill.
Under
Evan
the
hasn't
statistical average too. 100th case even.
Evan hasn't bought cases in a minute.
Yeah, bro.
In like months
Are we
even.
all tapped in?
I have no skins now.
You did trade ups
I
everything?
did a trade up and lost them all.
Yeah, but you gotta open more cases to replenish.
Butterfly knife? Emerald butterfly knife?
Mm-hmm.
Charles, you locked
I'm
in,
gonna
bro?
get a Safari Mesh Nova.
I'm locked.
I think we're all here.
Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, this shit
That's
look
actually
like,
pretty valuable.
this shit look like Dookie, bro.
What did Charles cook up here?
I had a weekly case.
Mm.
You guys locked in?
Of
I'm
course.
locked in. Honestly, I think
Locked
out
in.
of all of us, the next person that's gonna get a knife is Charles. This guy's case luck is retarded.
Yeah. Alright, you guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
Come on. Come on. Ooh, Evan.
SG5.
Oh,
What do you mean? I don't
Oh,
use
Rusty.
Oh, Rusty, you do now.
You do now. Alright.
Alright. Ancient's off.
Who picked Anubis? The hell?
What do you want?
Eden. Yeah. Give me that 5-minute wait time, bro.
What rank are you using?
Halfway through 7.
So you went up half a rank?
Kind of.
Wait, it doesn't make more sense for you to just play like casual?
No, you get more XP from comp. But I have XP booster this week.
What the?
Until I get my case. Once I get my case, then the XP's gonna slow down.
I think the XP booster is it from like the Doritos bag on the back of it?
Yeah.
No, you know when you're
Definitely all that,
you're
bro.
due for your case,
Mm-hmm.
you get a lot more XP.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
I hate this map.
This is your map, bro.
Do you put this in rotation?
I did.
Yeah, okay.
This is your map, bro.
What do you mean by that?
No, Evan's map. This is the map Evan's the best on, bro.
For real. Man, I can't wait to play this map.
Negev watching Squeaky, bro. Oh man, nobody can stop that.
I heard Evan's clutch success rate is crazy on this one.
It actually is.
This is the only map I've had cheaters on.
Gear up.
Skill-based matchmaking, bro. It's because you're so good.
Mm-hmm.
They had to put
Yeah.
cheaters on the other team.
I'll play ramp.
Up the rank too.
I'll play Rip 3.
Yo.
I'll play heaven.
No, I'm playing Heaven.
Yeah.
I
Charles
called
is
it
already
first.
I'll play Hell.
said- No, Charles has already said it.
I'll play Hell watching Ramp in Heaven.
I like the strat.
I'll play outside.
Zane wants to play outside. We're playing computer games inside. Come on.
Honestly.
It's cold
They went
outside,
ramp?
Zane.
So I said we should all go ramp.
Wait, did nobody go ramp?
No.
Oh, there's one on site already in the corner. Last one's on site. In the corner. Yeah.
What? Evan.
This guy kill stealing like a motherfucker, bro. 3 kills and 79 damage.
Yo,
Dude, I got 1 kill with 290. That's wild.
Evan, bro, what the fuck? That's actually crazy.
Let's go team.
That's actually crazy, bro.
Dude, yeah, she is.
Look, we're winning, aren't we?
Bro, I told you Negev watching Squeaky, bro.
Cheater.
Take your
This guy's 7
take your
kills
Negev
now?
back,
What
bro.
the hell?
Let's
7 kills? Oh, okay, no, he's smurfing, bro. I told you this
He
was your
actually
map.
has to.
I told you this was your map, bro.
decoys out.
Because people are stupid when they play it.
Flashbang.
There's one more trophy.
Bombs down Squeaky.
Grenade.
Vladimir Putin was team lobby.
Some crazy gameplay.
Like, that's right. We're bringing out the big guns this round.
M249, bro, what the fuck?
That's crazy.
What kind of loadout do you have, bro? The auto
Actually,
sniper
how do you have
M249.
I just dropped 5k on this.
What the fuck
What,
do you
what
have?
tier is it?
Equipped you?
M249
Charles splitting
anyway?
another Guinness and not telling anybody, bro?
SMG. Heavy SMG.
What the?
It says it's easier to use than
Real
the-
G's move in silence, bro. What the heck? Yo, they're outside, guys.
Oh my
They're all
God.
outside.
Easier than the-
Just because he didn't do a single call out until he died.
Locked
One's on top of Hut. On mini, yeah, sorry. Nice. Red crate.
in. One more.
Vladimir
Two
Putin,
more,
where are you?
two more.
Where's Vladimir Putin?
Oh, these get these.
No, get it. Can you get it off? Can you get it off? Demon,
Yo,
demon, get the off.
please,
Demon,
please, this is 5k.
Evan, bro, why didn't you catch his fall and like break his fall, bro?
Honestly, Evan, what the hell,
Demon, can you
man?
buy me an off?
Yeah.
M249 is worth more than the op.
No. Get that
It is.
garbage out of
Yeah,
here.
I mean, it is worth more than
Let's
the op,
give
bro.
it to them, boys. Deploying decoy. Grenade out. Grenade out.
What?
Bombs
Going in?
outside, bombs outside, bombs outside.
Throwing fire. Incendiary out. Flashbang. Deploying flashbang. Throwing flashbang.
Where's bomb?
I think red box.
Red crate, I think. Unless he took it, but I never saw him.
Nah, I don't think you took it.
He's heaven.
Always heaven.
Outside heaven.
He's not T-spawn.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Where is he?
Heaven.
Look at your op.
Outside heaven. I was on the ground. You see the
It's outside heaven again.
Oh my god, he's lit. Hell.
Counter-terrorism stuff.
89 and 3. Man.
I let you live there, Steven.
What do you mean you let me live? Oh, you didn't kill
You
me?
went off and you're 1 HP.
Mmm. Real one.
Let's have it, lads. Decoy.
Oh, they went ramp this time.
One hop this time.
No, you got one too, Charles?
Bro, this shit's hard to shoot.
Yeah.
It's really good first shot. I know that much.
Oh my god, he fucking walking AK'd me, bro. He's on site. B.
One squeaky.
Bombs B.
Did he die?
Then he's
What?
Then
Rushing
he's
Z?
ramp. He's ramp.
One's trophy.
Oh, never mind. Never mind.
Okay. Another one. Okay.
All right.
Okay. One's by the door. One's like under ramp.
Would you?
Bro, what the fuck was that?
Deploying flashbang.
There's no one there. All like on site. They're all on site.
That also doesn't even flash.
What is this frame?
That's some. That is gameplay right there. You want another option?
Yeah. You real one. Bro, you're like the United States, and I'm like Ukraine.
Facts.
Let's make this right as
Give me more bullets.
Nah, bro, you're getting fresh guns, bro. Ukraine not getting fresh guns.
You go weapon.
Yo, they're not outside.
What?
Not outside.
That's crazy. I don't even have damage prediction on. What is this?
That's good old-fashioned lag, buddy.
They're not.
I don't believe it.
counter-terrorists win. Rank on.
I think I gotta switch it up. Rushing ramp, they're gonna predict.
You want me to buy you a M249 next round?
That would be nice.
I can't afford it this round.
Decoys out.
Oh, you're off
investment,
tomorrow,
bro.
right?
Yeah.
Real.
Grenade out. Deploying flashbang. Throwing fire.
Where?
T lobby, they're outside.
Grenade.
One more outside.
Where's Vladimir Putin? Where's this
Outside,
motherfucker?
outside, outside.
Which one's Vladimir
Right there.
Putin?
Counter-terrorists win.
There's an open garage. Open garage. Go, 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 go. Push.
Oh, Fantan Alley has it.
Why would I need two
Wow.
ops?
Facts.
Move it, move it. Decoys out. Flashbang. Incendiary. Throwing a grenade.
Outside. Oh! He got me.
I didn't see anyone T lobby. What the hell? Never mind.
Bombs down
Oh,
outside.
there's one entrance to T lobby from
That's the guy that
outside.
killed me. Yeah, killed me too.
One more outside.
I think there's two more outside.
Outside,
Where?
outside.
But, on the right side of right crate.
He's gonna
It's
come
just
from
you,
you, Charles.
by the way.
Mini?
Laying down smoke.
Bro, bombs are probably.
Oh,
It was worth the try.
That was almost a clutch up.
Almost.
Fucking Vladimir Putin, bro.
Fucking Vladimir Putin.
Lad, bro.
Bad
yo,
game,
Dave.
Yo, up.
Watch it, M4.
I don't want this shit. Refund it.
Alright.
I.
Killing house anymore. This is real life.
You convinced me.
Watch outside.
Deploying flashbang. Incendiary out.
One's lobby. Nice.
Oh, bomb
Outside,
down.
outside. Oh, never mind.
Grenade out.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't know that was you.
Vladimir Putin is dead.
Throwing
question. Did you like the troll song?
Now we're really laying into the
Oh.
I just realized I don't have the CZ equipped on this
Oh, I got you, Zini.
account. Oh. Did you drop one?
Yeah.
Fine.
flashbang. Throwing flashbang. Throwing fire. Deploying flashbang. Grenade out.
Oh, he predicted it.
Where? Ramp?
Ramp.
Oh, one's on top of the roof. One, yeah, he's still on the roof.
Throwing a
There's a guy on A.
Back aside.
What the?
Nice, Charles.
Nice.
Damn. CZ actually put in work
Longest
for once.
CZ kill. Longest range CZ kill.
Honestly.
Where's the bombs?
We have bomb. We have
That's
bomb. We
trophy,
have bomb.
that's
Trophies.
Oh.
He's the T lobby.
Okay, you guys can keep holding A.
He's coming back to lobby,
Okay.
I think. No, he went ramp. I lied.
Evan, it's A. Evan, it's A. You don't hear the beeping. It's A. It's A.
It's A.
A, Evan.
Is it for real?
Yeah, bro. You don't hear the beeping there. It's A.
Planting.
Oh, it is a.
I told you.
Don't worry, Charles got this. Crazy heaven flank.
Evan's flashing vent, Charles. Or not.
You saw him on side, I think.
Other side of the silo, Charles. If you land on that thing below you, Charles, you can survive it. No, to your right.
Oh, I did
You
think
can
the
just land on
yellow.
his head too, you will be fine.
Land on the yellow, Charles. It does do damage.
One, now.
Charles, that was a $5,000 gun,
There's
man.
no stopping us.
Sorry, dude.
Oh, that was a $5,000 gun. You're gonna have to
Yeah,
pay for that one.
Brokey's over here buying ops.
You're gonna have to pay for that. I'm gonna talk to my lawyer about
Here,
this one.
here, Evan.
Remove any doubts in your head. It's us or them.
Oh, I got the wrong gun. Okay. We go back for that.
They might think you're rushing it.
Trophy.
Smoke. Grenade out. Throwing
Where you guys at right now?
We're ramp.
I think
Footsteps,
one's lobby.
lobby.
Sweetie.
Oh, fuck.
Boost,
Yeah.
boost, boost. Let's go, let's go.
Yeah.
Come, come. Move up, move up.
Okay, wherever you go, I'm ready to
Oh,
go.
we're stuck in the door.
Squeaky. Squeaky leg.
We're stuck in the door? Yo, what the fuck?
Okay, crap. Oh no, when we get through this other
Still
door.
lobby, still lobby.
Yeah, this one here. Yeah. Huh? What?
Did he push Squeaky already? Oh, yeah, he did.
Nope.
Outside mini.
Oh no.
Played you like a fiddle, bro. Ready like a book, bro.
Yo, what?
Yo, I did 6
One
damage to that
almost hit
guy.
84.
I did 6 damage to Gucci Lord. Come on, guys.
What would you guys do?
Can't
Nothing.
do all the work.
54 to hit.
Can't do all the work, bro.
I think I killed. Wait, who killed Vladimir Putin that round? That guy was the MVP. Whoever killed him. Alright, hear me out. You go ramp. No, ramp to heaven. To vent to B.
Now.
You guys ever see that like gerbil animal that jumps off a cliff in groups?
Lemmings?
Yeah, lemmings. We should do that off the silo.
Alright, ramp To the
Yeah,
height?
You're a real one for no
I
one.
haven't.
Oh yeah, ramp to
It's actually a
heaven to
misconception
height
that they do
to...
that, by the way, you know?
What?
It's actually a misconception that they do that.
Yeah, they don't do it.
Okay, we gotta go T lobby to silo. T lobby to silo and jump off.
T lobby to
No, I
silent.
thought.
Make sure you guys all fall. Don't get left behind.
Are we jumping off here?
Alright. Are we doing secret or event?
Oh fuck.
Hold on, wait up. You guys are moving too fast.
Where are we going, event or secret?
Secret to vent to A.
Okay. Sounds good.
Oh, in the vent!
Man, you didn't get there.
Go up.
No, we made
Get
it.
the bomb down, get the bomb down, get the bomb down.
We got the bomb.
it's
Green has
Charles.
the bomb. Fuck.
Alright. Should we do that again, but with Novas?
I'm down.
I don't have a Nova. I'll buy next time.
I got you.
We do armor?
I can't buy you one, Charles, sorry.
Yeah, that's tough.
I can.
Got it.
Okay, wait, we gotta be grouped up. We gotta be grouped up.
I lied.
I got one.
You got one, alright.
Okay, wait. Once everyone's here, we go. Okay, let's go.
Was it ramp
We
to
were
heaven
ramp
to
first?
vent to lobby to silo?
Yeah.
Oh! Oh!
Okay, but
Don't forget the plan, don't forget the plan. Where are you going?
Well,
Zini,
no,
Zini.
wait, shit, my bad.
Oh,
my
this
God. I'll meet you
guys,
guy's
I'll meet you
throwing
guys
with the
there,
bomb.
meet you
This
guys
guy's throwing with the bomb, bro.
You trying to lose or something?
Oh.
Okay, it's you two against Vladimir.
Oh! Two vents? I think. One more, like.
One. Okay,
top
so
vent?
5v.
Yeah, one vent.
basically.
Nice.
Nice.
We went off Q and everything got messed up.
Nah, bro, we won.
Alright, what's the play? Someone call the play.
Okay. Here's the play. Everybody CZ.
I don't have a CZ.
I don't have a season.
I got
Dave,
you.
Dave does.
Oh,
Everybody CZ.
Yeah.
banana too.
CZ, full set of nades, and then
Yeah.
we're gonna go outside.
I don't got money for that, boss. I gotta smoke.
Okay, it's
Here,
okay.
here. Oh, I can't buy
You can't buy extra nades, bro.
Got a nice. Yep. Flashing over.
That was a tough smoke.
Oh, we got a good smoke. Go. Okay, now we go decon.
Made the vents.
Right, decon. He's on site. Oh fuck.
One's
We're
up on
planting.
We're supposed to go up ramp.
Sorry, I panicked.
Oh, no more ammo. We're switching up plan.
Okay, everyone back into the small room. Go get in here, Fantan, get in here.
So cover
I'm
fire.
coming.
There's a guy in bed.
I have no bullets.
Oh
I have no bullets.
That
Got 7 bullets left.
I'm gonna give him your pistol or Nova.
Oh fuck.
That's my last bullet.
He's above you.
Let's go.
Easy.
Fucking what a
Alright, did I
strike.
convince you guys that the CZ is good?
No.
No,
I never
we're so
doubted that the
fast.
CZ was good. I just fucking
Alright,
game, bro.
What's our game-winning plan? All
Five men
scouts?
up.
Anybody want a revolver?
Oh, I'm down for a 5-man revolver.
I'm down for a 5-man revolver.
Ooh.
Dang. Is this
Same
a
plan
fail?
outside.
I'm down. Okay, but we all go marshmallow.
Yo, buy
Oh,
decoy.
I'm down. Oh, I forgot. It's too late.
They lost the guy.
Maybe we made them quit.
We're too good.
We probably made it, bro. They got 5 SPCs, but they like that.
Everyone
Okay,
quit.
go ahead.
One's a mini.
Oh fuck! One's in me. I hit him once. Nice. Heaven, rafters.
up on
There's
heaven.
two. One's on this middle silo. One's on rafters.
They're both up there thieving.
Oh, that's tough. He's like the far corners.
I think he's like hugging you right now.
I think he's right above you.
He's currently making out with you.
He's eating your ass as we speak.
The revolver looks so dope in the smoke.
It's dope everywhere, bro. I think it might be
So
outside.
like basically a 6v1.
All right.
Yeah.
Bro, I can't,
Six
I can't
v
use
one.
revolver.
This is Vladimir Putin, bro.
6v1.
Guys,
The revolver's on the other team.
Hear me out, hear me out.
All right, Charles, let's go.
Full save, full save.
Full save.
Okay.
We buy ops extra.
Okay.
You can't afford an op now. Like everyone.
Would you
in the
guys
team
all
can
have the
afford an
auto?
op.
No.
Joe,
No,
I
I
can't
have the
afford an
auto.
op.
Yeah, people can't afford it.
I don't have
One
an
can
auto.
afford two.
Okay, so full save, and then
Full save. Full save. No
We're
one
going
shoot a
grenades.
bullet. Okay, knives only. Knives
Knives
only.
only.
Okay,
Can we buy
are we
util?
go-
Can we buy
Knives only.
util?
And
Oh yeah, smokes and flashes, and we gotta take B somehow.
B, how about we all go squeaky and just wait for someone to open the door?
Or we just nade the door and we rush down vent.
Let's all
I
go
like
squeaky.
that. I like the
someone make
rushing down then.
Here,
it.
I'll,
Just sit
I'll,
and squeaky and jump.
Wait, are we using guns or no?
no.
Alright, let me throw my
Okay, so
pistol
buy,
away.
everyone buy a molly. Everyone buy a molly. That's
yeah,
gonna be our
everyone
damage.
throw their pistol away. No
Okay, so
pistols.
I'll nade squeaky, and we'll jump down vent. Make sure you guys buy a molly. That's gonna be our damage, or that's gonna be our get them off the bomb.
Alright.
We get Zeus's. Oh, wait, you guys.
I'm
Did you guys buy
down
armor?
for Zeus. I'm actually down for Zeus.
No, not zoning. Not zoning.
Oh, I got a Zeus.
Alright,
I got Zeus.
Who's holding a pistol?
All right.
Dave.
Even?
Okay, hold on. Wait.
Who's that?
Someone give me a
I
block.
do it.
Going down vent.
I smoked it, so we can
Down
be
vent.
safe.
Go.
My bad. I got 4
Get
health.
bomb down.
Everyone get into this. Everyone in the smoke. Get in the smoke.
Everyone
Throw
in
the smokes out and
one
get in.
smoke,
Get in,
bro?
get in. Keep throwing all the smokes and get in.
I already used mine to get down here.
We'll get into this one.
I'm watching Double Door. I don't know about this.
I'm
player.
watching T-Con. Vent, I think.
You get on my head.
Unless that was one
I
of you.
know this is not gonna work.
You're in.
Oh, I
get him,
died
get him.
twice. I died twice.
How did I miss him?
I think I top.
What?
How did I miss the Zeus?
How did I miss the Zeus? I was literally aimed right at him.
Even.
What the? Bro, now that was some
Alright, go.
bullshit, bro.
Up.
Okay, fuck it. I don't need armor anyway.
You don't,
I'm
bro.
gonna kill him.
Wait,
Against these
you
guys?
want me to buy you armor?
Okay, we all go silo.
Oh, sorry. I'm down.
I'm throwing my pistol away. Alright.
Oh, I forgot.
Hey, come on, let's go. Chop.
It's stuck on the
Oh,
line.
that's awkward.
Oh, they're coming from behind us. Watch out. Let me just flash the lobby. Why are you guys jumping down? I was staying up here.
I messed up the jump.
Go down secret. Go down secret. And we can all go control room.
Oh, I'm so down. We get bombed down and just all sit there.
I'm
Who
down.
has
we go.
bomb? Charles
who
has
has-
bomb? Okay.
I got bomb.
Just, Charles, I'll smoke it and then you go plant it, okay?
Okay, so.
Get in the smoke and plant it.
I'll watch this side of control room.
I'll watch behind.
I'm watching the door. Got one. Ramp. I hear him.
Got him.
I'm trusting you. I got behind. Oh, we should have got decoys too.
Flash.
Oh man.
No fun. Yeah, okay, Kevin.
Ooh. Damn, still no case. One more game.
It's going to explode.
Ukrainian
They call us
bums.
Ukrainian bums.
Silver 4.
Damn, you just silver 4?
Yes, sir.
Just hit silver master elite.
I know. I need to get there.
All right. to even.
Ooh. What's a fun map?
Overpass.
Yo, low key, we can do shenanigans on Dust. So I'll pick it.
Alright. Let's go.
We have to like be winning by a lot before we start doing shenanigans.
Nah, we'll just start with shenanigans, bro.
Knives on the first round.
No, we have to win pistol round because otherwise we'll be broke. We won't be able to buy other stuff.
Yo, should we change our loadouts real quick though?
Oh yeah, back out.
Charles?
What are we changing?
Well, let me just fucking.
Like, are we putting the CZ on?
Yeah, let me put the
Oh,
CZ
thank
on
you
my.
thank you
my
for reminding
shit.
me.
Look at the pistols, bro.
I'm gonna put the revolver on instead of my 5.7.
I'm gonna swap the dualies for the CZ. Actually, let me keep the dualies. Let me get rid of the 5.7. Hog. M249. Oh no, that's the wrong section.
Yo, which is better, the P250, the 5.7, or the dual Berettas?
I would personally use the P250.
The P250.
Hmm.
The 5.7 is
Booty cheeks.
is capped when it comes to distance.
Okay, what about
I
the
think
dual
it's-
Berettas?
Dual Beretta is better than 5.7, but I think P250 is the best.
Hmm. Dual Berettas are more fun. I'm gonna pick those.
Yeah.
I can't remember how many units it is for 5.7.
Oh, you can't. How many units?
Yeah, distance
Oh, like
units.
distance. Yeah. It's.
Alright, I'm good to go whenever. I got my pistols locked and loaded.
Wait, 1 second. Give me the auto sniper. Fuck it.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
Ooh, should I get the PP Bison on? Nah, it's not good enough.
Why did you send an ad to the group chat?
Fire shawarma,
Demon.
bro.
Demon.
Best shawarma in the world.
Oh, Teepin?
Not even shawarma.
It is.
Osmos, bro.
It's not. It's not shawarma.
Best shawarma in the world.
Osmos not playing around this year, bro.
Oh damn, we're playing Dust.
Damn, for a limited time only is the price that it used to be? No way. That's crazy.
That sounds like $11.
Isn't it more than like... Isn't it like 14 now, bro, for a medium?
Remember, this is
What
not
the
your
hell?
house anymore. This is
I
real
don't-
life.
I haven't got an
That's
Osmos in
gross.
so long.
Me neither, bro. Last time I checked, it was bare more
I'll play
expensive.
cat. I'll play cat.
I'll play B.
And it wasn't even
Or
like
I'll play
play
long.
cat.
Always
too.
Warriors too.
I'll play long. I'll play long.
Dave, I called cat first, man.
That's nice.
Yo, roll for it.
You're getting muted, buddy.
Can you sell it?
Slayers are coming out right now. Why is this Simpson gamer guy on cat with me?
They're top mid. They're actually
Yo.
top mid.
Grenade out.
I was actually on the pixel moment. I was trying to figure out what skin you had. I was staring at your skin and you have full flash.
I fucking grenaded, dude.
Oh my god. Alright. No, okay, lock it. These guys are good.
If you
These
guys are way better
clearly
than the other one.
Yeah,
Yo, they got Mao on the team last time.
Okay, to be fair. Oh, they got fuck. Who the hell is Bill? Oh, it's Bill Cosby.
That was Bill Cosby. He just named it. He just said his whole name, bro.
No, I saw his picture and then I read his name.
We are out of here.
Fuck it. Alright,
Are we back?
bro. Card Jitsu?
Everyone's going B? I'll go B.
Penguin,
I'll
bro.
come beat you.
Oh my gosh, man.
What, bro?
Oh my god.
It's B?
Yeah, I hit one. They bought pistols.
I have bomb. Bomb's lower.
Why do you have bomb? We're on CT, bro.
Evan, why are you car?
What? Oh,
Window? Don't die. Oh, you're dead. Evan, you're watching.
He's upper.
You're watching CT.
Evan's watching CT.
Where's the bomb?
Right there.
Oh,
Oh, he's so low! Evan, he's lower.
there's 3 of them.
Two.
Oh, there's 2 of them. You got this.
Bomb has been planted.
Yo, last guy's super lit. Evan, you can actually pistol him.
Simpson Gamer.
You can pistol him, Evan. Nice.
Defusing the bomb.
Good job, Evan.
Good job, Evan.
thank
Good
you.
job, Evan.
Good job, Evan.
Hey, Evan, the boss called. He said, well done.
You said good job. No raise, but you're good. You're good job, bro.
Terrorists win.
Employee of the month type shit.
Go.
Well done, Rajiv, indeed.
Simpson Gamer. Simpson Gamer.
Evan, did you mute the soundboard?
No, why?
You didn't
I
react
hear it.
to Simpson Gamer.
Decoys
Oh, I
out.
was listening to you guys spam there.
Oh,
It was locked in. It's like your theme song, bro.
Smoke.
I couldn't tune it.
Flash long.
Did anyone beat Charles?
One more does. They got full flash.
I got him. I got the guy lower.
Top mid.
I'm smoked
Smoke
up.
cat. Smoke cat.
Throwing smoke.
They smoked mid doors again?
Is anybody on B?
No.
That's crazy, bro.
Oh, yeah, they are.
Yeah. This guy decided to.
He said they are. Oh my
Oh,
god. Long doors.
He's gonna shit at me. One's cat. One's cat.
Bombs
Nice.
B.
Bombs down.
Okay.
One guy was cat. Evan, watch out. He
Yeah,
could be
there was
right down
probably one.
Nice.
Easy peasy.
Oh damn! I did dink him when I jumped.
Dude, can I get that AK? I bought it last time.
I didn't pick it up.
That's crazy.
So you guys can't afford to buy.
Nah, it's
I got
tough,
you,
bro.
Charles.
No way, just fucking being clanged on the ground.
Yo, this bad that made us crazy. Oh, nice.
Good.
Who the fuck just threw a
Oh,
grenade?
they're here, Charles, they're here!
Is B?
Yeah.
Back up.
Decoy.
Did that
Yeah,
move that you
full
threw?
flash.
Got really
Yeah.
slow.
Oh,
Okay, at full flash. In 5, 4. Oh no, they smoked it.
Oh my god. Guys, I need
Oh,
help.
there's a guy right side.
Oh, long. One's long, 2 cat.
Charles just really locked in
It's
here.
A.
Oh, Charles, you never flashed.
I don't have a flash.
I thought you had one.
Oh, I thought you were predicting their flash. I was like, man, this guy thinks he's good or something.
No, I was telling you to flash.
You hear him behind you?
I think I hit him.
Save your pistol.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you should have just saved the AK that you spent your hard-earned
I hit
money
that guy
on, bro.
94 and 2, Charles.
Yo. Time to lock in, guys.
No, let me actually lock in.
Let's
the
lock in so
second
that we can
goodness.
fuck around.
I got you,
please.
Zinni.
Wait, we're
That's
saving? I
fine.
just bought a $5,000 gun.
Okay.
What?
Let's make this right as rain.
Can I go long?
Yeah, sure.
Like, can I go long? Cause I'm going long. There's no. Let's just leave B.
I'll come along too.
Yo, they're long.
Oh my gosh, this P Club member is actually like raping me.
Like a true penguin.
P Club and the P stands for P Diddy.
Evan!
Yo, my $5,000.
Yo, this guy's about to get an ace. Zini, don't let him get an
Oh
ace,
my
bro.
God.
Oh no, he's about to get an ace, bro. At least he didn't get
Choice.
maced.
Yeah, he was only 4 kills away.
He was only half a kill away, bro. You got an assist on Zinni.
They got the M249.
No.
It's over, bro. You just gave
I
him
don't
a
think they
trump
picked
card.
it up,
Bro.
bro. I don't think they
No,
want that
I think
shit.
you did. I think you did pick it up.
Yeah, let me lock in.
I think they sold it for parts, bro.
Yeah, it's
Honestly.
doing the fucking recycler.
Yeah, you're gonna pop off, man.
Oh, there's 2 in B.
Yo, they're coming B.
Nothing long.
One's on site, one's back site almost, like in the smoke.
Oh, he's outside tunnels. Nice.
Did they have my gun?
No.
What the? I did 101 damage and I got 2 kills. What the fuck? 99
Yeah, I have
and
it
2.
right here.
I did the exact same and I got 0 kills.
Yeah, the only thing that buys he has money.
Go, go, go.
Nobody picked up my M249.
Grenade out. Laying down smoke. Throwing smoke.
They're like top mid, Zinni.
Yeah.
Oh, 3 long, 4 long, 5 long.
That's okay.
One long.
Deploying flashbang.
This is just one long still.
There's more than one.
Okay.
What row?
Top mid.
Nice.
Is he on site? Where's?
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
Oh my god, really?
Yo, we have Dave, but they have M Daver 95. What
So I
the
just
fuck?
died to a Toyota Sienna?
Is that what
That's not, bro. That's a.
Isn't that a Corolla?
The Corolla, actually, not even a Camry. It's the fucking Corolla.
Yeah, okay.
But he owns a Sienna and doesn't even know what it looks like.
Nah, it's my parents' car.
Throwing flashbang. Smoke.
Oh, they are B?
Incendiary out.
Yo,
My bad.
we are not at B.
Flashbang.
Oh. Yo, Tina, I low-key might have. Yeah, I might have fucked you over there.
What, Molotoving me off?
Yeah, it was supposed to be a deep molly, but it barred down.
Happens.
Oh. Highlight reel?
Highlight reel, highlight reel.
Highlight reel? You just
Nice nade,
you just
Evan.
naded. You just naded. Here,
It's
fully.
You couldn't have got a closer nade to Manure? Charles, he's. Oh, yeah, he's Charles. Oh,
Alright, sure. Thanks.
Alright.
alright, Charles.
Great.
It's up to you.
lost that round.
What do you mean we lost a round? Charles is alive.
It's crazy that you're already saying Charles lost this
You
round.
think he's
No,
pushing-
I didn't
he's
say
pushing
Charles
side?
lost this. I said you lost this round.
No, as soon as Charles is the last one allowed, you say we lost.
It's
Is it
1v1. It's hard. It's
Take your
harder
time,
than
Play slow,
Take
play
your
slow,
time.
play slow, play slow.
knife him, knife him, knife him, knife him. Go around, go around, go around.
But he has to
Touch
jump
him.
to knife him. Oh, he's gone. He disappeared.
Where did you go?
Stealth mission failed.
Damn.
This guy just pulled. He did a magic trick on Charles.
Disappeared, bro. What do you want me to do?
Highlight reel for what, bro?
Highlight reel.
Got 2
Man,
fucking
if only
revolver
that nade
headshots,
didn't hit.
man.
0-7,
Which one, the
boys. Time
first one or
locked
the
in.
second one?
Dude, it was like fucking 9/11. Sir, a second nade is there.
Fucking nade is at the mad move, bro.
Okay,
The Fantan Alley.
Laying down smoke.
What the fuck? Why is there 4 of us watching long? Nobody's on B.
Oh, they're coming. They're actually
Oh,
coming
there's a
long.
flood.
No, stop clicking. Charles, could you ever hear him boost
Mid.
Sparrow? Xbox.
Yeah, bro.
Maybe tons by now. I don't know.
I think they went lower in Xbox.
Oh, wait.
One's lower.
Wait, Charles, can you get up here? On this edge of the barrel?
Oh, no, yeah, maybe.
Was gonna help me too.
Alright.
Oh no, you have to look into the wall, Charles. Otherwise, you'll slide off.
Sound good.
Flash B.
Nah, we got it. If it's long, bro, we got it.
Not long.
Okay, we all move.
I think they both pushed out.
I haven't turned around. Let's go. Let's go.
Dang. Alright, nah, I'll
What
go
the
film
fuck is this, bro?
Oh, you didn't tell us they planted or they had B, man. What is this?
Yeah,
I told you
that
it
was
wasn't long.
Good information.
Hey, I don't know why you're still there.
Throwing smoke.
It might be car.
Oh yeah, he's car. Little snake in the grass, eh?
Oh. Casual ace.
Yeah, but did you boost? Did you triple boost?
Yeah, did you triple boost?
Crazy. This guy's trying to take credit for doing everything. It.
A fancy revolver.
You guys want to do three behind
Mosquito
car?
Cheeto.
Down.
Sorry, what'd you say?
Three
Three
behind car.
behind car.
Mosquito Cheeto.
3 car? Oh, let's do that thing. Did you guys see that video?
Oh, with the flashes?
Yeah.
Under the car?
Yeah. Okay, Charles, you go.
I didn't buy a flash.
Don't
No,
get
who's shooting?
That's my decoy.
It's a decoy.
No, we need someone to be like shooting behind the car.
They're B, by the way.
Throwing flashbang.
What the fuck MP7 can do that?
Does it actually flash people long?
Yeah.
I think so. If you throw it at the tire.
Grenade.
One's car. One's still car.
He's not car.
There's definitely still one car, bro.
Alright, backside in car. You got no kit though.
You're right. I'll just.
Do you have a deagle?
Bro, auto sniper?
No, that's G.
That's Evan's gun.
Auto rifle, bro.
You know what? I'll buy one.
You know what? Revolver time.
Dude, what is your loadout? Like, you have the M249, and the get this,
Yeah.
and the auto?
Aren't they different sections?
They're gonna wish they were never
No?
born.
Well, yeah, they are. I'm 249 CS.
M249's in the middle section.
One over.
Do you have like the FAMAS or anything?
Yeah, I got the FAMAS and
What
the
the
AK.
fuck, bro? Why you the FAMAS?
This is my only pink skin.
Yo, is it B?
Yeah.
Deploying flashbang.
Yeah, I'm gonna take this.
Yeah.
Throwing
Oh,
flashbang.
one just.
Nice.
I'm lit, guys.
Ivan doesn't have a need, so you're safe.
You would think that, bro. But last time you just picked another one up, bro.
He just dropped the gun down.
Nice.
Nice.
Nice. Last guy's on site. Under window.
How did I?
Oh.
How did I die? I swear he was
No
aiming
time.
for Zinni, bro.
Oh, there's
You
a
don't have
kid beside
time.
you.
I'm defusing the bomb.
There's a kid
Yeah,
on the
I had a
ground
kid right
man.
there, bro. That's fucked. That's tough.
I didn't want to call. I didn't want them to call me a cheater again.
You already got the kill, bro. The defusing the easy part. Alright, surely the revolver will work this time.
Let's show them who we are.
Don't not ready for this one. Flash long. There's 2 long.
I'm en route.
They thought that was about to do something. Flash long. Nice. Oh my god!
Oh, they're all there.
1 pit, 2 pit. Yeah, 2 still pit.
Oh, Charles is still pissed.
That's okay. He's back. He's back.
Big bladder.
He's back. He's back. They're long, Charles.
Oh, were you watching his
Slice
camera?
him up, Zinni.
Oh yeah, I have Discord open on those.
Oh,
Damn, one was mid doors. What the fuck?
It's okay. Now we're east side. We got 2 brownies on the team. We're gonna win.
We must win.
I'm white, bro. What do you mean?
my name's Dave.
Profile says.
My name's Fantan Alley. If anything, I'm
Go
Asian,
cat, let's
bro.
go cat, let's go cat, let's go cat, let's go cat.
Let's go cat like Zinni trying to pick up an extra shift.
Yeah.
didn't even hit the Xbox smoke. Embarrassing.
Yo, who threw bomb? Cole.
I did throw a bomb, bro. Look at the chat box.
Look at the chat.
Chat log.
Thank you, Simpson Gamer. I didn't have to check chat to know that you shot me.
Yo, CT, he's dinked.
There's a
CT.
guy car.
Oh, hold on. I gotta reload.
Hey, CT dinked. You have a molly in here?
Good try, Charles. Nice.
Oh, you see him?
Oh.
Damn.
Hey, Charles.
Charles, switch to
Might have to
burst so
get
you can
closer.
shoot
You might-
2 bullets.
Just.
You might have to get closer.
It's 3 bullets.
Oh no.
Sorry, boss.
Damn.
Wow,
You
I
gotta
thought I
like pull down while you do that.
How many did you hit? I want to see.
One probably.
I think all 3 were
Someone-
connected there.
119.
For how much? I have for 30.
Not bad.
Dude, that's where these knockout chicken deals have been get worse every time.
You
Inflation,
should go, can you do a demo for us and record yourself eating?
No, I don't like eating chicken like necks.
Yo, Munir.
Huh?
I was about to say you should see my crazy new Mac 10 skin.
But you don't have it.
I don't. I don't have it on this account.
Yo, David, I need a knockout chicken mukbang.
If you come back, we'll go.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm down.
One's dinked on B.
Oh shit! Hit!
Fucking cool.
You guys don't have bomb. The guy behind you guys.
Yo, there's a guy behind us, guys.
Zini, you can tell me if someone's door, right?
I can tell you if someone's passing by. Like a little bit more to the left. Left. Keep going. Keep going. Okay, now I see door.
Oh,
Am I
man, I
graphics
might
low,
as
or
well
is this
be
just like a
looking there.
horrible looking texture?
It's pretty bad looking texture.
Like the wall across from you looks so good, bro.
That one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got this, bro. Battle scarred rocket pop gonna bless you, bro. One of them was dinked. You just make a phone call noise with your mouth, bro. Huh?
21? Fucking
9
Bill
plus 10,
Cosby.
baby. 9 plus 10.
Oh, why am I ping at like 200, bro? What the fuck?
Zinni, are you in love with the cocoa?
Yeah.
I'm in love with the cocoa.
Yo, RIP OT Genesis.
You died?
Nah.
Yo, Charles got 0 kills. What the hell?
Buddy, this is not my map.
I better see your votes in Prem then, Charles.
You know I always respect you.
Oh,
I got it. Entry correct. Because I'm entering. That's why.
Yo, there's 3 of them on B. There's 3 of them on one's car, one's door.
we go away. Quick.
Go.
Wait, everyone just sit here. Wait for them to come past us.
Alright.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that.
Yeah, I'm right now. I'm coming back.
You guys still here?
Yeah, just don't check the map, bro.
Or your eyes.
Oh, I just
Yeah,
need
I'm
to
in
wear
crouch. I'm in
emote.
crouch. I'm in crouch.
Boost, 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 boost.
CT.
Oh, now we swing back to B. We go back. Come on,
Yeah.
We have time.
Oh.
If we're quick.
He has the bomb. He has the bomb. He crossed
No,
already.
that's why he needs to go. No.
No, but they already saw him and he crossed, bro.
Okay, it's okay. It's okay.
One CT, Evan.
Oh, what the? What? There's a guy car.
What?
Or long. Somewhere. I don't even know.
Yeah. Long.
Alright.
They're
Okay,
both
I'm
long.
still waiting for them to come out.
Oh my.
Damn, you almost hit a clip, bro. I almost believed in you for a second, bro. Alright, guys, let's lock in. It's one storm match point. I think it's time we start taking this game a little bit more seriously.
For real?
Yeah.
Charles has not even 200 damage.
So I'm gonna buy a revolver.
Hey, it's all about the vibes.
Wait, how have I been buying a revolver? I'm like second on the leaderboard.
Dude, this inflation, recession, bro.
Inflation or recession? Oh shit, bro.
Dude, I wouldn't expect you to know.
Damn, leaving on more than double your kills. I'm just not into that.
Oh,
This
on the board.
fucking M. Daver, Toyota Sienna, motherfucker.
You got your number, bro.
Well, they're behind us.
Yeah, one's long, I think, or like long doors or whatever.
Nice play, Evan.
Oh, one's mid doors. CT.
Charles, I beg you, kill him.
Yeah, one was like long doors and one was CT, I think. I don't know if he went mid.
Bomb has been planted.
Charles, I know you want to do it.
Oh, long. He's tagging long. He's actually okay. Thank you.
Stressing out.
He's long. Evan looks
Kill.
and walks right into Charles'
Second kill,
crosshair.
actually.
You could have got a collateral off Evan. Not gonna lie. All right, Galil, let's go.
Guys, I got 2 kills.
Let's go,
Big
Charles.
ups.
We must work together.
Bro, how's this Bill Cosby guy have 2 ping in his ass?
Easy to have 2 ping, though.
You're not wrong.
Just gotta know a guy.
Hey.
Excuse me?
Yo, you guys that or
Huh?
Bombs down mid.
Bacon soda. I got bacon soda.
I got B. Oh, I don't have B.
What was up there?
Bacon soda. I got bacon soda.
I throw the flashback.
Oh, you saw him. He was
know
there
that.
in the doors.
Counter-terrorists win.
I'm in love with
Yo,
the
guys, this
cocoa.
gate is match point.
I'm in love
Oh, it
with the
is?
cocoa. I got it for the Lolo.
Oh, OG Mako was the one who died, by the way. You know OG Mako?
Yes.
Bitch, you guessed it. Woo!
We will make them regret.
Hard to
You
be that
was
guy.
right. Alright, Dave's gonna die in 5, 4, 3, 2.
What the fuck, bro?
Yo, I'm predicting Dave.
Oh shit.
dude, like,
There's 2 of them?
Spray transfer, bro.
Spray transfer onto me, bro.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
you remember that?
Yo, guys,
song
we
with
need
the one
bombs.
plus?
Yeah, the
Yo, I'm
bomb is still
predicting Dave's
locked.
death in 3, 2. No.
I got this.
David, what?
Oh,
The karma.
That was karma, bro. That was what was supposed to happen in the first place. Bro, Or just prolong the
Yeah.
final destination.
Crazy. 2025, we have black and white crime.
Who's black?
Who's white?
Oh,
Who's committing the
think
crime,
Jews count
bro?
as
One was
white?
Pitt, Charles, one was Pitt.
Cole Palmer. Got your number, bro. He knows your name. He knows your govy.
You know, Chicago.
check the car behind
Quickly,
you.
quickly, go, go, go.
Oh my gosh.
That guy,
Aaron
I would've
Barry
added
3030,
you guys.
thanks for the
Shut
follow.
up.
Case
Yeah, Zinni
unboxing?
got the same ADR if you put one in the front.
Low key missed the case unboxing. We didn't get shit.
guys, I'm like
Oh, I
20
didn't get
XP away
shit.
from my case.
20 XP away from a case for us. One game. That's another. That's another win for us, bro.
We didn't win.
Yeah.
It's another one.
That's another one. That's what it'll take.
Nice. We played all these games. I didn't even level up once.
Tommy and it has joined Ice It.
What?
Really?
What? I'm
Alright,
down though.
That's off.
Okay, okay. My pick again. Give me motherfucking Italy.
Italy?
No way.
Italy?
Honestly, I'm so done.
Oh, man.
Italy's fire. Easy to get lost on the
Let's
map.
rescue some hostages, bro.
Yo, what the hell?
What? That video?
This guy just had like a walk with like, he just put pigs into it.
What?
Oh, okay. Like a Chinese cooking video? Or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it says streets food.
This is fire, Evan. I'd try it.
You try this?
Why
I
not?
have.
For real.
Evan, why do you have so many pig videos on your feed?
Huh?
Chinese pig videos.
Algorithm, bro.
I'm just catching up to this.
Okay, how many pig videos have I sent you?
2 or 1.
Okay, so
The
what's
one?
this? All this pig stuff.
Or two if you include the one you sent just now.
Okay, here, you want something else, Steven? There you go. Here's something else. Not a pig.
I'm so down to do this, Evan. Next time I'm in Ottawa, we gotta do this.
When are you coming to Ottawa?
Maybe in the summer.
Summer!
Dude, I got school and I got exams after reading week.
god.
That's one season away.
Yeah.
That's usually one season away, bro. This guy fully skipped spring.
Yeah, that's the one season.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
Jesus. This one's fire.
Oh no. Wait, which one's fire? Oh, the chicken?
Yeah. Why'd you have so many like Chinese cooking videos, bro? What? And you say my For You page is messed up.
Honestly, I feel scared to send it to the group chat now. With the big one,
What?
Why?
people just judging it now.
Oh, office. We're playing at Atlanta.
Evan, last time Greg sent
We're actually girls
something,
and
you said,
Hellcats.
"Okay, Greg, Facebook mom."
Exactly, everyone judges people.
That's just you.
Hey, well, you should hear what people say about Tristan's posts.
Yeah, but Tristan says bad posts.
Tristan's posts are actually the worst posts. And I'm gonna say that on stream.
How do you rate that post I just sent to you? Appropriate for this.
Yeah, it's appropriate for this crowd.
It's targeted towards someone.
I could see Zinni doing that with his smoker. What the hell is this reference to?
You don't know Darius the Autism King?
I've seen this guy, but I don't know this. Get out of my closet.
Bro, he's in the closet, and then the
He's
mom's
gay?
like, Darius, get out of my closet, and he just goes,
He's gay.
One's lit.
Yo.
They went big window. Evan killed me.
They definitely went big window.
Wait, I didn't kill you. Did I
Had
hit you?
to, no, I had to throw you off your game there.
Bro was on it. When was he on the game, bro?
I gotta make sure you didn't have a good start, yo.
Yo, guys.
Someone.
Charles?
What?
There's 2 of them in their spawn.
Evan, I got a crazy video for you.
Oh, that's unfortunate, puke.
Yo, did TP post this? Bennett? What is this thing?
What is that? I mean, is that baby dogs?
I think it's pigs.
Baby
They're definitely
dogs.
Pig goodies.
Maybe no money.
Let's go.
I can't put down the cup.
Yo, Munir, what do you think about baby no money?
What I think about Baby No Money?
Oh, skibidi.
Honestly, I don't be listening to Baby No Money, bro.
Oh, that's the best opera ever, people.
Seems like
I know,
he
I
seems
like
like a
it.
weird guy, bro.
Crazy.
Oh,
Chat
looks like
clip
you
that.
have some.
Chat clip that.
Okay.
You got some to give on the get paid.
Is that a guy who college still watching?
I hope so. The guy who said case unboxing question mark?
Yeah, that guy. That guy clipped it.
How did she go? Wait, what?
That actually wasn't on purpose.
There's an AK up there.
I tried my best. One's paper. One's up, one's paper. One's
Oh.
long. You got this.
Fucking,
One more to the right.
One hop this time. 2 hops this time.
Two.
To the left. To the right. Crisscross.
Everybody
Crisscross.
clap your ass.
Everybody clap your hands. Yo, they planted. It's on H site.
Watch this.
Oh!
Alright.
Watch it.
We're watching, bro.
愿你收获七彩缤纷，请到六列卡数。
Yo, Theben, bro. This is
Yeah,
the type
I
of shit
love
that
these
shows up when you win
Chinese
4 cents
fortunes.
off the fucking slot machine.
It's Chinese fortunes.
When you win 4 cents off the slot machine, bro, that's the thing that plays.
oh, we still haven't done the babies. Who's babies?
The baby?
For real, bro. I'm waiting to change our profile pictures to fruit babies.
I can become Fruit Dave.
The baby?
I could become Fruit Simpson gamer.
You're too long. I bricked everything. Never using the right click again. I'm zipping on from at the scene.
I can't put down the cup.
Oh,
Yeah, put down the cup.
Those reflexes.
Yo, grab the mollies.
The Molly?
Yeah, right here, right here.
I'm gonna flash into it.
Oh, I can't pick them up. I gave you one of them, Charles. I can't pick up anymore.
Throwing fire.
Where's the bomb? Oh.
What?
Oh, he's in front of you guys. Elbow, elbow.
What's good?
I thought Evan just started spraying me down from the back.
Would you be wrong? I'm assuming that.
I don't know.
Or is it this one trying not to glaze you from the back?
Huh? What the? Wait,
What?
Wait, what? Wait, what?
Jack, flip that.
Wait,
Yo,
what?
what the hell was that?
What the fuck did you
Jack,
just say,
flip
bro?
that.
He said glazy from the back.
This guy thinks I'm a Krispy Kreme donut or some shit.
You're about to be. Once he's done with you.
Oh, one's paper. Yo, the CT side stack is insane, bro. What are you guys cooking?
Oh,
that's what you're cooking.
I'm coming. Oh,
Yeah.
That's what
Never
you're
mind.
cooking, bro.
Very nice.
Oh, there's two guys, elbow connector thing. That's a fire negative scheme. No.
The one I'm holding?
Yeah.
Escorting the hostages. Throwing fire.
You saw him.
Well, the comments on this one you
His
said,
elbow.
you're crazy.
Which one? The chicken one?
Yeah.
Where the fuck did he go? Oh,
Was that Fafa babies that you just sent me, bro? What is that?
Alpha babies.
I don't know if you can just send me some AI baby Instagram reel, bro.
bro, I haven't played Fafa Babies in like so long, like 3 years.
Are you itching, bro?
Bro, honestly, Fafa Babies is such a shit game. We played Fafa Babies for like 2 hours. I swear, bro. We didn't hit the.
I think we played worse games for longer, bro.
No, we need to find the rock, or we need to play that rock game again. That's what we
Yo,
need.
that rock game. I
game's
played that
crazy.
shit. That shit game was fucking. It
Honestly, I
rinsed
think
me,
the
bro.
worst game we played was the.
Oh, you played the rock game? We did?
Yeah. I lost like $20 on that game, bro.
Nah, dude.
I made like $80 on that game.
Yeah, I swear that's the only reason I was up that day.
I made like 60 on a different game, but it wasn't the rock game.
Throwing fire.
Like some bullshit fucking other Chinese game, bro.
Girls, don't get lost. Yo, watch
You
this, watch
think
this
you
shit.
could-
Watch this, Movement King.
Alright,
Yo,
bro.
Steven, I love the Japanese because that dance.
Hmm?
You love the Japanese because that dance bunch.
Like ones that you said the can we do this?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love watching them dance.
Smoke.
Oh my. Rios is just the Chinese gambling ads now.
是1月18日，星期六，农历腊月19。早安，朋友。生活简单一点，幸福就多一点。
Guy flew out of the office.
Yo, what is this?
Bro said, fuck, I don't want to work anymore.
You're not allowed to be there, man.
They got to put suicide nets up in here, bro.
Dude, you got
Wait,
Molly,
wait,
man.
wait,
I love
wait,
Molly,
wait,
man. Jolly, man.
Let's give it to the boys.
Can't put down the cup.
Laying down smoke.
Sipping on promethazine.
We should all stop using Snap and move to WeChat.
I'm down.
Nah, you need a Chinese phone number to join WeChat.
You actually?
Oh,
Yeah,
I'll get one easy.
Grenade out. Smoke.
How do you know, Zingy?
I try to sign up for WeChat.
For what purposes, bro? Damn, Dave.
He's like behind the chair.
Ah, shit.
Throwing flashbang.
You know what's crazy, Charles? I actually tried to get Dan to help me sign up for WeChat.
Yeah, Mo's gonna learn that you don't walk into it.
To your left, to your left.
How?
Oh, the monitor saved him.
There's two of them there.
Oh, the brick shot saved him.
Yeah, they're both elbow.
It's okay, Evan's gonna play the waiting.
Okay, let me get this pixel gap.
Pixel gap, bro. They're not gonna push that, bro.
They're not gonna push that.
They're gonna push it.
Why would they push it?
Why would they push it?
Because people get bored in office.
Yeah, this is all I'm gonna walk. Yeah, see? Yes.
Look what you did to me.
What did I do to you?
You made me push.
Look what you did to yourself. That's what happens when you bind together.
Okay, how would that have been different if I had a CZ?
You would have killed him.
Oh, you would have killed him if you had
You would have ran out of bullets. What do you mean?
Alright, no need to bring race into this, man.
Huh? Need more bullets.
Good weapons.
Bigger weapon.
Bigger weapons? Why didn't you buy the M249, bro?
There's less bullets in this.
Oh!
What's up, man?
Or was it?
Straight ahead.
One's,
I think Paul
one's
got him.
bathroom, one's long. They're both pushing like back towards long. I touched them a little bit.
Why did they just put smokes?
One more long.
Throwing smoke.
Yo, that's my body, bro. I reloaded it just in case. He didn't even reload it. Are you tweaking, bro?
What you mean?
Yo, there's too long, like by the hostage or whatever, at the window.
Oh,
Oh, Charles forgot to shoot.
yeah.
Yo, watch this Evan clutch.
Actually, I did shoot him. Look, he's lit.
Oh,
Yo, turn the lights off. Turn the lights off.
yeah, Evan, it's okay.
Yo, turn the
Don't
lights
push
off, bro. They won't be able to see you, bro. Ah, fuck, it's motion sensor, bro. My bad.
him. Yeah, we got on no motion.
Damn.
My dit to your crack name 5 deodorant brands. What the heck?
Yeah, ask the wrong
Of
people about
course.
deodorant.
Damn.
Decoy.
What do you say, Z?
Said,
Being
ask the wrong
racist,
people
bro.
about
That's
deodorant.
crazy. That's crazy.
Man, you guys just assume everything's racism.
And we'd be right.
Would we be wrong?
Listen, I know Evan doesn't use deodorant, alright?
Crazy.
Evan uses some fucking Adidas body spray.
Adidas body spray, bro.
Throwing fire.
Adidas body spray is wild.
Not even like Axe body spray, like the fucking random ass Adidas body spray, bro.
I got you.
Flashbang.
Bro,
Oh,
you get
thanks.
your big split as soon as you peek. Oh,
Oh no, he's right there. You almost got him.
Almost.
bro.
Oh. See, if you didn't tag me, I would have got him.
You right. I'm waiting for you guys to go in.
Yep, so one by one, he's still
Elbow,
holding the
elbow.
angle. He's still holding the angle. Evan's still waiting for him to peek.
We got time.
Alright. Steven, swing quick and get the kill. Go.
I think we
He's like,
swing at the same time.
he's like in the middle.
That's a cap.
He moved.
That's cap.
He moved.
He was not in the middle.
Okay, not one bullet came out of your gun.
I hit him 27 and 2. So
How much did you hit me?
it doesn't tell me.
So,
Always
so
rush
zero.
paper.
So zero.
I also didn't hit that guy.
I think 5-man paper will work.
5-man paper. I'm down.
5-man
They
paper.
always, like, if we sneak into it.
How are we gonna sneak into it,
How are
bro?
we gonna sneak into it?
No, we
Behind
just
the wall.
smoke and
Right.
flash a shit ton.
Yeah.
They smoke. Okay.
Start
I smoke.
flashing.
I flash and we go. Look at that. Boom. Boom shakalaka. Get the hostage. I don't have a kit. I need cover fire. Cover fire? Cover
I
fire?
died,
No
I
one
died.
provided
Yeah,
cover fire?
here. One's one!
Throwing fire.
He's pushing!
Just run, just run, just run, just run, just run, just run, just run. You'll make it,
We're
you'll
gone.
make it, you'll make it, you'll make it, you'll
Dave
make
is
it.
gone.
You'll make it, you'll make it, you'll make it, you won't make it. You should have went right, you should have went right.
I thought I could make it.
The thing wasn't even open, bro. Fuck.
Yeah, I would have to wait for the door to open too. Oh my god.
It's okay. We can run it back. We can run it back.
It almost
Run it
worked,
back,
bro.
Turbo.
Okay, XMs. We're going loud.
It's because we didn't have enough cover fire. That's what happened.
Go this way.
You're right.
I didn't buy a kit again. We don't need it.
It's okay, I have one, bro.
I'm flashed. They threw a deep flash somehow.
CT side of map, by the way. I'm not wrong, bro.
Oh, I hit him. I hit him.
I got shot by Simpson Gamer.
Go, 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 go. Cover fire.
Alright, I'm going back. I'm going back. Someone back here. Oh, there's two of them. There's two of them. He's to the right. He's on the stairs. He's on the stairs. On the stairs. On the stairs. Damn.
What?
Yeah, were we asked or what?
No,
that should have worked.
He set him up. Man, that guy's 16 and 3 on the team.
Remember,
16 and 3.
Okay, now we smoke paper, but we actually go long. Oh, why are you here?
Oh my god. Guys. You're gonna go flash your car. What'd you say, bro?
throwing smoke.
Oh, well, you know where he is. Well, Evan do the right play.
Oh my god.
I get the hostage rule. He's there. He's like right there.
You heard him?
I think he's elbow.
I think he's elbow too.
I think he's elbow.
Oh my god, I hit him 7.
I thought you were gonna say a big number, bro.
Come on, jump, jump.
Alright guys, I'm gonna need you to either lock in or clock in.
Are you paying me?
Yeah, are you? Sorry, I don't work for free.
Oh my
They got
god,
an auto?
that's an auto? He's gonna swing you with an auto.
That's an AK.
He did swing
Yo,
me. at
Steven,
least.
Steven, you think Indian vapes go hard?
Why are you asking me?
You sent me the fucking post of this Indian girl vaping.
What the fuck is the difference between an Indian vape and a normal vape, bro?
Yeah, they're both from
I
China.
don't know, Italian
Chinese
vapes
thing?
go hard.
That's what I'm saying. Thank you.
The fuck is an Italian vape, bro?
The ones that he made me buy them in Italy.
Thank you.
Is that the one that had the screen on it?
It's the
No,
one that
that's all
vibrates.
vibrates.
Oh, the vibrator, bro? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Carl,
No, I'm sure they like.
we haven't
They're
stacked.
probably like really bad.
Oh,
for
this is
really
our first
strong.
round on this side. Never mind.
Good shot.
What the hell? What the hell? There's a guy to your
Big
left.
window, big window, big window. Damn.
You see him, Charles?
Right?
You saw him. Mountain Charles?
Take the dualies. Oh.
In the closet.
man. Jolly man.
It's okay.
Carlos, we need to stack.
Oh, it's the, you know, we need to add the boat sound.
What's that?
We need to add the One Pixel boat sound.
Let's go, my brother.
I think it's the stinky soundboard, or the stinky sound effect.
You mean a foghorn, bro?
Yeah.
Nah.
They're long.
Like
big window.
like the boat noise?
What the fuck? How do you get there? Yo, Charles, no call out.
Yeah, you never called out. That's crazy.
Yeah, I called out. How the fuck did he get there?
Yeah.
Okay, Evan's playing. Yep.
Stupid mouse life. Easy.
Guys, we won a round? What?
Oh.
I live by the Negev, die by the Negev. Got his ass.
That'll teach him.
Move it, move it.
Whoa.
Go.
Like ever.
Whoa. Whoa.
Throwing fire. Going down. Throwing a flashbang. Grenade out. Throwing fire.
Nice. Oh, just King Darius.
He's nanked. Darius.
He's dinked.
Oh my god. 96 and 4.
I got shot by someone.
Make one of them?
No. I think you, low key.
No, I hit Manure this time.
Well, there must have been Manir.
No, I hit Evan this time, and Charles.
Well, this guy only did 87.
Oh no, I
to you,
did.
so what do you
I
guys?
threw a grenade at you. That's right. I did do that. forgot.
Yo, let me through.
Nice.
Yo, I'm a flanker. Keep holding that.
I don't feel like it.
Oh, paper.
You rushed paper. I thought you were with Munir.
Yo, they're in paper. There's no different paper?
That wasn't paper, bro.
Yeah,
He was paper.
No, the other guy
paper
went through
came-
paper. The other guy came through elbow, bro. Or like,
He came from paper into elbow.
bro, I killed the
You're
guy that came
bugging.
through paper, bro. What are you talking about?
You're bugging, Munir.
What are you talking about, bro?
Big bug.
Big bug? Shit. Can't deny that.
They're like using their strand, just smoking them off.
Yeah, I don't think that's their strat, bro. I think that's like the thing you should do.
Yeah.
Big window.
It's on you that didn't hit me, Dave. Little super kill in my head. Yo, stop it, man.
One's still big
It's
window.
like blue.
Cine.
Hmm? There's someone here.
Saw him? Did you see him? You did see him.
Oh, he's on the left side of the big. Oh, the right side now. He's like right where you're looking, Charles. Pretty sure.
Yeah. Just threw a molly at me.
Oh, there's Rob.
No, he's there. He just crossed. Oh!
Kill
He
him,
died?
kill him. He's like one tap.
Yo, I didn't think you were gonna die though.
Oh, beautiful, Charles.
Sneaky with it.
I can't put down the phone.
That was really good aim.
Nice.
Stepping on promethazine.
Anybody need a gun?
Yeah, do you have a Nova?
No, I don't. Unfortunately, I have an XM.
Oh.
Here you go.
Can I get a Nova? Thank you. sipping on promethazine.
Window.
Can't put down the cup. Can't put down the cup.
What the heck's going on over there, bro?
There's one around that corner there. Willow, what are you doing? That's cool. Willow.
Oh, he's there. He's there. I tagged him, Dave.
Ooh. Staircase.
Nice.
Oh, beautiful shot.
Damn. He got me?
Oh my
Oh.
god.
That's
Oh
tough.
my god.
That's crazy.
I thought I had more time.
No,
left.
no, real talk. What were you thinking? You killed 2 people and then you wanted to kill 1 more.
I thought I only killed
But you killed 2 people and you went to kill. You killed the 3rd one actually. That was your last guy. You killed 3
That
people
thinks
in 1
it's me
round.
or something.
No.
Yeah,
Oh, you
you
killed
killed
me?
2 people. You killed.
I killed Munir.
You killed Evan. You
Yeah,
killed
Yeah.
Charles.
I didn't kill
Evan.
Charles.
Yeah.
No.
That's super tough, dude.
I didn't even see anybody, bro.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm gonna love getting this comp elo.
Comp Elo? No way, man. No way. This guy's
Yo, the
flexing
crazy thing
comp
is we can
Elo.
actually still win this game. Well, inshallah.
I
Is it-
believe.
I mean, can we
And
just
there's
tie?
an
We can only
M4.
tie it, can't we?
Oh yeah, that's right.
City?
Can't
So
win
there's
this
an
game.
M4.
What the hell am I gonna do with that?
Use it.
For what?
Two second office.
Okay, someone watch me.
Munir, when are you gonna start running ads?
When am I gonna start running ads, bro? On my Twitch?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't got that kind
You
of
have
motion.
partnership?
I have like 50 followers, bro. What do you mean?
Oh, he's at
Obviously
the
not.
washrooms.
How many do you need?
I think it's like followers and watch time. I'm not exactly sure, but I know it's like at least 100. So.
Oh my god.
I don't even know my Twitch password.
Need
so
some
I can't-
bots, bro.
Pretty sure I'm followed.
Need some
Bad
view
boys.
bots, bro.
Yeah, I'm sleeping too.
What? Don't you
Am
have
I
like a
getting
competitive
case?
cooldown
Am I
anyways,
getting
bro?
a case? Oh, I got a case.
Alright, I guess I can watch a case unboxing.
Yeah, but am I gonna open it on my Smurf?
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
bro. What do you mean? Just send it to
Why not
yourself
just-
after.
Yeah.
Why not just send it to myself? Like, right now.
Maybe you'll have better odds on your Smurf.
Oh,
I
the
mean,
Elon salute came up
yeah,
on
yeah.
TV
The,
story.
the Smurf
I
is
haven't- I haven't-
has got a clean track record, bro.
I haven't opened a single case on the Smurf account. Ooh, it's a
Exactly.
refill case as well. I'm gonna have
What'd you
to
say?
Send myself trade offer here.
Bro's doing all that.
Hell yeah. Trade health for a day.
Hell yeah.
Charles, is this your bedroom now?
No.
Oh. Why don't you just make it your bedroom?
Why would I do that?
Because there's a bed behind you and your computer's here. Wait, oh fuck. I saw Taco Tuesday buy one get one free Taco Bell. But it's Taco Bell Kuwait.
Bro said all that.
Charles, you ever sleep in that bed?
When we have guests over, yeah.
Mm.
Check out the ball.
Wait, what's shit? What do I have for confirmation on this team count?
See, man, this is why you could just open this shit, bro. Now you gotta figure out all this shit.
It's held for a day, anyways. It's held for a day.
Day, really?
Oh, okay. Why are we still in the skull? Have a good night.
But he's not opening the case, bro?
No.
Damn. Alright.
I'll open
Alright,
10
see you
today
guys.
already.
Later.
See you later.